The royal titles of Prince Andrew have been formally relinquished. The monarchy has reached one of the most startling crises in contemporary history, and he has been essentially exiled from royal life. This isn't conjecture. It's unprecedented and confirmed. A senior royal who was born into wealth, influence, and a long lineage has just deprived himself of all that made him a king or queen. What then took place? Why now? What does this signify for the royal family? Future of the family. Let's dissect it. Across Britain, the news came like a thunderclap. Prince Andrew will no longer use any royal titles or honours such as Duke of York, according to a palace statement. He's surrendering them all. His ceremonial responsibilities, his patronages, and his military honours lost. According to the statement, talks with the king and the larger family led to the decision. Don't get me wrong, though. This was not voluntary. In order to put an end to years of controversy, embarrassment, and public indignation, the palace intervened. At this point, Andrew will be living on his own. He refuses to do royal tasks. The crown will not be represented by him. Furthermore, he will no longer be able to claim any of the titles that formerly characterized his life. This is a complete breakdown for a man who used to proudly stand next to the Queen when trooping the colour. To comprehend how we arrived at this point, we must rewind because it took time for things to happen. Years ago, a friendship that would ruin Prince Andrew's reputation marked the beginning of his collapse. Although his connection to Jeffrey Epstein was initially made public over 10 years ago, it really took off in 2019. His name was meant to be cleared after that notorious BBC Newsite interview. Rather, it ruined him. For all the wrong reasons, the interview became widely popular. Andrew turned into a joke, and the palace acted in a matter of days. He was told to keep out of the spotlight. The lawsuits followed. In the United States, Virginia Giuffre filed a civil complaint that was resolved out of court. Although reports indicated millions, the amount was never formally confirmed. The harm was irreparable, yet he acknowledged no responsibility. His future as a prince was over then and there. Jeffrey Epstein, a disgraced financier, the words, "We're in this together," encourage him to stay in contact. The day after a notorious photo of the Duke of York with his arm around teenage Virginia Giuffre went viral, the royal sent a war message to the convicted pedophile in a leaked 2011 email. The first round of penalties arrived in 2022. Royal patronages, military titles, and the ability to wield His Royal Highness in any official capacity were all taken away from him. The writing was on the wall, but he was still officially the Duke of York. Public sentiment was cruel. Regiments, universities, and city councils all started to distance themselves from him. Portraits appeared. One by one, public awards were restored and plaques were taken away. He turned into the ghost of the royal family. He attempted a silent resurgence for a few moments. He made appearances at his mother's memorial and funeral, but the criticism was immediate in both cases. Britain had already decided. Why now then? Why did Andrew ultimately relinquish all of his royal titles? Because the flame has been rekindled by new revelations. A number of stolen emails and papers that have come to light in recent weeks seem to indicate that Andrew maintained contact with the disgraced financier even after he claimed to have severed his relations. Records of meetings, old photos, and private communications seem to contradict years of denials. Meanwhile, rumors surfaced that connected Andrew to dubious commercial interactions with foreign officials, particularly those who are suspected of espionage. There is no worse time for it. Then came the upcoming memoir by Virginia Giuffre. New information regarding her time with Epstein and a renewed emphasis on Andre's place in that world have been revealed via excerpts that have already gone viral. For all the wrong reasons, Andrew's name was making headlines around the world once more. King Charles had had enough this time. Behind the palace doors, the point was obvious. Another year of controversy was too much for the monarchy to bear. Parliament may take legal action to deprive Andrew of his titles if he didn't voluntarily relinquish them. In a final show of dominance, Andrew consented to resign on his own terms, or at least give the impression that he would. What this means, let's be clear. The Duke of York is no longer Andrew. He's no longer able to utilize all of his noble titles. Earl of Baron Lee, Inverness, and any other military decorations. He will no longer serve as a representative of the royal family. He is no longer associated with any public institutions or patrons. He will not be seen on palace balconies during royal functions or during ceremonies. Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife, will also no longer hold the courtesy title of Duchess of York. She is also affected by the aftermath. It is currently anticipated that the royal household will take his coat of arms, symbols and insignias off of official archives and exhibits. It's a complete departure from living as a king. Prince is the only title he can't lose. That is not an appointment. It is a birthright. Technically, he will always be Prince Andrew since he was born. The palace may, nevertheless, choose to cease portraying him in this way in official documents. He might end up being just another private citizen, Andrew Windsor. It is anticipated that he would continue to dwell at Royal Lodge, his lavish residence on the Windsor estate, but even that is debatable. Rumor has it that if he stays, the monarch wants him to move discreetly to a smaller home and pay full market rent. Although it has been reduced, he might still have some personal security, and naturally his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are unaffected. They still hold full titles and are members of the royal family. The royal family's lack of response says a lot. This action was planned behind the scenes to safeguard the image of monarchy. According to reports, Prince William and King Charles share the opinion that Andrew's presence has turned poisonous. They desire that he be expelled from the organization entirely. This goes beyond aesthetics. It's a matter of survival. The monarchy is dragged back into scandal each time Andrew's name makes the news. Andrew is dead weight for William, who is getting ready for his own eventual rule, and Charles, who is still establishing his reign. Thus, they released him. The palace makes a succinct, dispassionate statement. Just the facts. No praising, no defending, no warmth. You can tell everything from that alone. That it is clear that he has behaved in an unworthy manner. Indeed, there has been a strong yet split response throughout Britain. Some claim that the monarchy ought to have taken action years ago and that it is long overdue. Some say it's too late, too little. Many people believe that Andrew's reputation cannot be restored. The biggest voices calling for his removal have come from the citizens of York, whose city title he once held. Despite feeling vindicated, local representatives say they are not happy. To make sure it can never be used again, they want his dukedom to be legally revoked. What does Prince Andrew's life presently look like? Exile in a nutshell. It is anticipated that he will completely withdraw from public life. No interviews, no appearances, no official responsibilities. At Royal Lodge, he will live in seclusion, protected from the media and unnoticed by the royal apparatus. Private money and what's left of his fortune will be his main sources of income. Andrew, who was once surrounded by prominence and power, is now isolated, disowned, and ashamed. Renouncing titles might not shield him from what lies ahead. Rumor has it that investigations are still underway in the UK and beyond, into business relationships, international transactions, and potential concealed settlements. He will defend himself against any new litigation as a regular citizen without the protection of royal privilege. For a man who has never really been held accountable to the law, that is a terrible prospect. The palace believes that the crown itself will be protected by this act of surrender. They're setting a boundary by completely excluding Andrew. He is currently alone, but if additional evidence comes to light, that distinction may become hazy very soon. The following few weeks will be crucial. His duke could still be lawfully revoked by Parliament, guaranteeing that the title Duke of York would never be used again. His name will be subtly removed from histories, archives, and honours lists by royal institutions. Buckingham Palace may make more announcements outlining his new position, or just remain silent in an effort to let the tale die down. Do not be misled, though. This is not the end. Files, emails, and witnesses may still come to light. Concerns over his connections and finances remain unresolved. Additionally, a memoir that is scheduled for publication soon may contain even more secrets. Once the royal family is ready for the impact,